All right, I think the streaming has been started. So today we are going to continue on from where we left off in the previous session. I think we were solving, practice questions. So we'll see what all is there. Continue from there. So specifically, now that we are in week 2, so we'll try solving some of the questions that are pertaining to week 2 only. So before that, can anyone please confirm if the screen is visible?
Yes, sir, it's
Yes, sir,
visible.
it is visible.
All right. Thank you. So let us start, and I hope those of you who were present in the previous session and those who have watched the recording might know how to get access to the VM because we've discussed it at length in the previous session. So I won't be going through that again. And the steps to solving a question has also been discussed in the previous session. So what happens is you go to /opt/se2001 in the case of system commands. In case of Linux shell, it will be cs1102. We go inside and then we'll do ls to see all problems that are present in my case. In fact, the PPT problems have been released also, so I'll request all of you to kindly finish that in time. And then, so today we are going to start with the second. So the first week, I think there were 2 of the PPAs, right? I think one of them we solved. We might see this one, the problem statement for that, and then we'll go to solving 2.1. In fact, so for week 2, only one PPA is there, is it? Okay. Yeah,
Yes,
then
sir.
we'll see some other
Sir,
practice questions
sir,
to
sir,
solve.
sir,
Okay.
sir,
So,
sir.
yeah, please.
Before starting, sir, how
Uh-huh.
to come to this place? You that day you told SSH. What we have to type, sir?
Uh-huh. No, somebody
Yes.
put that on chat. No, I'll
Oh,
just
I'm sorry,
pin
sir.
it.
Sorry, sir.
Pin it again. Yeah. Okay. So,
Sir,
yeah,
will you
let
be
me just.
covering those wildcards?
Which one, Punendu? Wildcards meaning which one?
Like a star, question mark, what they do, or also the angular brackets that we use. Like today only I learned about function scoping, like chaining, how to chain multiple functions, taking the input of one function,
The
output
pipe
of one
operator,
function.
right? That one.
Yeah. Not only pipe
That
operator, angular operator is also there, which creates
there,
a
yeah, to
temporary.
redirect and all. Yeah, that we can discuss. Yes. So just let me
Please do
quickly
that.
see PPA 1.2, Punendu.
Okay.
Okay, in the context of that, maybe I'll explain because anyway, there's only one PPA, right? So we might discuss
Mm-hmm.
all such things thereafter.
Okay.
Ripu Sudan has raised a hand. Please go ahead.
Sir, we have
Yes,
to
sir. Do we
solve
cover?
these questions in the VM only. Sorry for interrupting.
Certainly. All these questions are on the VM, right? So, I mean, the PPAs are there on the portal also, so you can solve it there. But rest of it is there only, right? Only in the VM. So whichever is only there in the VM, you have to solve it there. Okay,
Sir, do
somebody is
we cover,
mentioning
sir,
PPA is
week
covered.
2 practical today?
Week 2.
Yes, sir, practical part of the week 2.
Sir, sir,
Okay. So we can start from practice 2 also. That's also fine. Like the practice
sir.
questions
Sorry, sir.
pertaining to week 2. Yeah.
Sir, excuse me. Except for BPT, all other things we have to solve it in portal now, sir. Except for BPT.
No. Except for PPA, everything else you have to solve on the VM.
BPT, no, sir.
BPT as well as the other things. Everything that is.
Not clear, sir. So except for BPT, everything
Ah,
should be solved in portal. Am I right, sir?
no. That's what I'm saying. Everything except the PPA only has to be solved on the portal. Rest of it will be solved on the VM. So let me, in fact, put it there. So PPA can be solved on the portal.
Portal.
Yeah, and rest of all the questions. Rest. Okay.
Here we have to solve it here.
Yeah, rest of them on the VM only. I'll just put it out.
Sir, can you put it in chat, sir?
Yeah. I put that.
And sir, only BPT will be grading no, in the course view.
The course VM, I think the eligibility for the OPP is pertaining to BPT only. So if you solve it, there's some percentage, I cannot recall what is that. So I think 40% you have to get at least average 40% the BPT,
Yes,
and then
sir.
only you become eligible for
And sir,
the
something
OPP.
marks also in the final course marks total.
Ha.
T
So in the
score.
total score, it will be added also, right? So some weightage is there. You can check that in the grading pattern. Okay.
So,
So yeah,
so
ha.
then graded assignments and all we have to solve in VM, sir.
Yeah, BPT is the like the the practical problem, the the practical questions, the graded practical questions are on the VM. If you're talking about theory graded assignment, then that has to be solved on the portal. I mean, that's always there, right? The graded assignment that is there on the portal, you have to solve it. So but that is the theory part, right? You don't need to code there. What I'm
Yes.
saying is the practical questions, BPT and everything, you have to solve on the VM except for the PPA. PPA you can solve on the
Okay,
like
sir. Okay, sir. Agreed.
on the
Understood, sir.
yeah, that's what. So can you send the live session playlist? Somebody's asking. Okay, I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that in a couple of minutes. Let us start. Okay, then after that, I'll just show the problem statement, and then I'll take questions after that. Okay. Somebody mentioned that we can start from week 2 now, so maybe practice 2.1 and so on. But before that, I just wanted to take a look at what all is there in PPA 1.2. There's only one more question here, right? I just wanted to
Sir, are
see
we
that.
recording, sir?
It's already been streamed. So in fact, let me. Somebody put the YouTube link also, I think.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can I
Yes,
quickly
Tarang.
share my screen because using the password I'm not able to log into my VM.
Okay, so these things we've discussed, Tarang. Okay, actually, I just wanted to. Okay, I'll come to you, Tarang. Okay, just give me one moment. What I can do is I can open up the problem statement so that the others could start solving it. Meanwhile, we can discuss your issue
Yeah,
as well
sure, sure.
separately. Is that okay? Yeah, because otherwise we don't want to keep them waiting, right? Okay. So all right. So I'll go to the home folder again. So everything I have to do here. So I think I had created the folder for PP 1.2 also. Perhaps we had solved it. We did not solve it, but we were discussing the problem statement for this. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is regarding the file types and all. Okay. So this we can explain, or we can jump to week 2. So would you like to solve this one, or shall we directly move on to week 2 questions?
Sir, please solve it.
This one? Okay.
Yes.
Then you can take some time on this. This is like the the last PP of week 1. There were only 2 of them. So one we've solved already in the previous session. This one we'll solve and then move to uh, practice 2.1 and so on. Okay, and we'll discuss the redirection operators as well, and the pipe and so on, as Pranendu was requesting. Okay, so I'll keep it on the problem statement for some time so that all of you can start solving this. Okay, and meanwhile I'll just
So
try to
from within the folder, we have to type synchro.
from within the folder of the assignment, rather the question. Okay, all right. So for Tarang, I can see if it's possible to. Okay.
So for this problem, do we need to create a script file or we can do it directly?
Okay, so please continue on solving PPA 1.2. Meanwhile, I'm taking doubts for the login issue, okay, on another breakout room. So once I finish that, I'll come back. Okay, meanwhile, you can put your questions on chat. All right. Okay.
Sir, what we have to solve, sir?
PPA 1.2.
Okay, sir.
Okay, all right. So I think people have been trying this one. So shall we go ahead and discuss this, or do you all want some more time?
Sir, how to come to that place, sir? So
What?
PPA 1.2, how to come to that place?
Uh-huh.
Sir, we have
Okay.
opt,
So
yes, sir. Opt,
yeah, yeah. So what you have to do is you go to /opt/se2001 by
yes, sir.
seeding into that. You
Yes,
do ls, then you will be
yes,
able to see all
yes, yes, sir.
questions that are there. Yeah. And then, so for example, if I want to do PPA 1._1.2, similar to how I explained in the previous call, you have to come back to your home folder. See, this tilde is the home folder, right? So in your home folder, you create the directory. You do it only once, right? You create this. I hope all of you have already done that, right? So you go to SE2001 after that, and whichever problem you want to solve, for that problem, you create a directory under that name. So I want to solve PPA 1.2. So I have created directory, empty directory PPA 1.2. If I want to solve some other question, I'll create another directory having that name. So once I create that, I go inside and then I'll do synchro show. This is under my home folder and not OPT. Okay, there's a difference between /OPT/SE2001 and this character is called a tilde. So the wavy character that is, it's a shorthand for your home folder. So tilde slash SE2001 and slash PP 1.2. These two things are different. Okay. So always you have to solve this for everyone. Always every question you want to solve, you solve it in your home folder. If you try to solve it directly within OPT, you will not be able to do that because this is system folder and you don't have permissions to write or change anything in this particular folder. So what you have to do, you just see the problem names from there, from the OPT folder. Once you see that, then you come back to your home folder and then start solving questions there by creating a directory for that problem name and so on. So if you want to solve, let's say, practice 2.1, then I'll be creating a directory called practice underscore 2.1 in this particular folder, AC2001 under my home folder, and then solve it like that. And then I go inside, I do synchro show, synchro eval, and all such things in that folder. So that is the idea. So if I want to see the problem statement once again for PPA 1.2, that's what I have to do. I have to do synchro show here. So this is for 1.2. Let us go through that. Okay, I'll just explain it quickly and solve it so that we can move on to the next week also. So it says write a bash command to print the file types, okay, of all the files stored in the current working directory. Okay, so meaning you have to write a command such that it gives you the file types of all files. Now, how do we get file types in Linux? There's a command called file. So what happens with file is, so let's say I'm creating something. So I use touch is to create empty files. So maybe test okay .txt, some file I created that's empty. So if I use the file command then and pass it the name of the newly created file space test.txt, it will say that test.txt is an empty file because it is an empty file, right? Had it been something else, it would say that is that file, whatever file it is. So the command is file, and after that you give the file name. So it will tell you what type of file that is. That's a built-in command in Linux. It is there for you to use. Okay. Now there are two things there. One is that you have to know the file command is there to get the file types. I think hopefully it has been discussed in the lectures also. And then here in the question it says I don't want to check for a particular file. Rather I want to do it for all files, and that's where wildcard helps, right? So this star and all such things are there, right, which allow you to check for everything. So it'll the bash interpreter will basically expand it out for you and do it for every file that is present there and so on. So for example, I'll quickly show you. So there's one file called test.txt. Maybe I can create another file. So let's call it test2.txt. Again, empty file. So I think the type will be same for both of them, but we just want to see what the output is, right? So I'll say file and then I give star. So for every file, it basically gives me, right? So for test.txt is empty, test2.txt is also empty, but had it been something else, it would say whatever the type is. Okay, so this is the command that we have to use for this particular problem. Now, thing is, I have done it interactively, meaning I have done it on the terminal. I'm just getting the output right there. Okay, how do we evaluate this? I mean, this is the command. I know this is a solution, but then Synchro cannot evaluate it, right? I've just done that and I'm seeing the output here, but that's not the objective. So for that, we have some instructions to follow, and I'll do synchro show again. It says the output should be in the format as described below, and this output also is actually matching with whatever file gives, right? So the intention of this question is for us to use the file command and get familiar with that, right? So it's already the same thing, right? The output is the same. So if you run that, we don't need to worry about the output, because I mean, the default output format that comes out of the file command is exactly matching with whatever output we require, right? So we need not do anything as such. Whatever comes out is actually the thing we need. Okay, so that's fine. But before that, there's one thing that is mentioned in instructions. It says the first column is the file directory. That's okay. And second column tells about the file type, which is indeed the correct format, with which the file command gives us the output. That's okay. And we have to write a script, and this all things we have discussed in the previous class also, right? Generally, for solving such questions, you have to write a script so that Synchro can then evaluate your submission, right? And then accordingly, you'll be graded if it's a graded assignment and so on. So that's what happens. And the name of that script, whatever I'm going to create, it's called file types.sh. Okay, and it will not be provided any input. We are not giving any input. We just run it. It'll do whatever it has to do and kind of give us the output, right? So that's the idea. And if you've been there in the previous class also, you remember we had discussed it, that we have to make it executable also and so on. So I'll just describe that process again. Okay, so we know the solution, and we also know that we have to write a script such that that script does what the solution expects us, the question expects us to do. So for that, I'll have to start up a text editor so that I can write a script in that, and then I'll save the file and then make it executable and so on. Okay, so there are two text editors, as I explained in the previous class also, Vim and Nano. I prefer Nano because I mean I'm kind of used to it, so it's easier to work with that. But you can use any of the text editors that are available, right? So, but because the text is, the script files are basically text files, right? So you can use any text editor to write your code in that. Okay. So I'm going to create a new file, because if I say Nano and then give a file name, it will just create a new file for me and open it up to write something into that. Okay, so that's going to be a shell script. So the convention is that you give a .sh extension to that, just to denote that that is going to be a shell script. Okay, fine. So before we get started, you all know the solution, right? So basically, so this is the script. If it is run, what it will do, it's a sequence of commands. So I know I have to use this command, right? File star. That's all there is to it. So if I were to just make it executable, run it, I think it will pass. So before getting into one more thing that is there, I'll just run this as it is, and try one other thing that I want to explain. But before that, just try to see what output we have. So file star, and I'm going to save it. So Control O, and file type.sh is the name. I press enter, it is saved. And then I can use Control X to exit from the text editor. So exit it from text editor. Now if I do ls, these two files are not required, so I'll just remove this test.txt as well as test2.txt. This is just for example. Okay, now we have this. Now you know, we want to run this, you cannot run this. So if I do file types.sh, it cannot run. It says permission denied, because for any file to run in Linux, I might have explained in the previous class also, I had in fact explained that it has to have executable permission, right? Only if you give executable permission to a file, then only it can run, regardless of whether it's a script or something else, right? So since we have written a text file, it's just a text file. For it to be becoming executable, you have to give that appropriate permission. So we had discussed that also previous class. So I'll just show you. So if you do ls minus l, you see all current permissions that are there for this particular file. So you see, and I had explained also that there are 3 segments to this particular permission string in Linux. First segment is for the owner, rw dash, right? And then the second segment is for the group to which this file belongs. Currently, it just belongs to my it just belongs to my user and my group. So it is only me who can have the effect of these permissions. But assume that this file is also being assigned to some group. Then if you modify this middle segment, then it is going to affect the group permissions. Okay, and the last one is for others or public. Okay, the last 3. This is for others, meaning if I am someone who is not the owner of this particular file, and I am not also not in the group to which this file belongs, then others permission will be applicable to me, or public permissions will be applicable to me. So it says public users can only read this file, cannot write to that file, cannot execute it. Okay, so these 3 characters that you see, are corresponding to reading, writing, and executing the file. Okay, so in my case, since I'm already the owner, and for evaluation also, we just need to have that executable permission. So I'm just going to give myself the permission to execute this file. That's all. I don't need to worry about group permissions and public permissions for now. So I'll just retain it as it is, to the default permissions. Okay. So for that, I use chmod. This is to modify the permissions of a particular file in Linux. So I give the what kind of modification I need to do. So there are 2 things you can use here. One is digits, like you can give a numeric value. Please go ahead. Somebody is saying something.
U plus x.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So there are 2 ways of giving that. One is, and you give numerical permissions, right? About that we had discussed briefly in the previous class. Also, maybe you can go through the video also where it is discussed, or you can use the characters. So as somebody explained it, that you can use u plus x. So what happens is when you say u, I mean that's a nice way to understand it. It is for the user or the owner. So you know that this file belongs to me. File type.sh belongs to me. So this is this part, the first segment of the permission string going to get modified. If I say G, then whatever I do, it's going to be concerned with this part, the middle part, the group permissions. And similarly, if I what is for the other part? Is it O? I don't recall what is for the other part, but yeah. So if you do that, then it is going to affect the last part of it. But since we are interested in the user permissions, only the first part of it will say U. Now after that, if you want to add some permission, right, then you do plus. That is to add. Like current permissions are there. I want to just give extra permissions. Now so you do plus. If you do minus, then whatever permissions are there, it will just get removed. So for example, I can remove the permission from the group to be able to write. So just as an illustration, so I say G minus W, it will say that from the group segment, I want to remove the write permissions. Okay. And then I give the file name. The chmod, I give the, the modifier, and then I give the file name at the end, and then I press enter. If I do ls minus l now, you see for the group part, w is gone. Because now the group users cannot write to this file. So that is the idea in general. Okay, for now, I'm just willing to give myself the permission to execute this files. I'll just do u plus x because I want to be able to execute. So that is the plus. And if I do that, I do ls minus l, you see two things. One is it becomes green. That's a general convention in Linux. Whatever files are executable, it just becomes green. The other thing you see is that I have now been granted the permission to execute this file also. Since I done that, right? So earlier I was not having that. I did u plus x. I have been given that permission. Now it is okay. I can run this and I can see the output also. So similarly, now we've given that, right? And you remember what all is there? File star is what the script is having, right? So if I
So
run
if
this,
we write, so if
huh,
we write the chmod plus x, then the file type dot sh, then
huh,
what will happen?
it'll happen that it'll allocate that permission to every segment. I mean, every type of, so it'll be on to honor as well as to the group as well as to public, to everyone. That is whatever you do.
Yes.
Okay, similarly, if you do minus w without specifying any particular type, then it will just do it for all of the three segments. Okay. Okay. So you see, if I'm now, since it is executable, I can just do dot slash, give the file name, and just run it like a normal executable. So it says that now currently we only have one file, which is the script itself. So it says it's ASCII text, which is okay, and this is executable also. So now I can try to evaluate it. That is all there is to it, right? Whatever all files are there, it will just give out the type of the file. Okay, so let us do eval, and it says surely enough it passes all test cases. Okay, now before moving forward, one last thing I just want to describe about shell scripts is that sometimes what happens is, so if you make it executable, that's okay, you can run it, and scripts are text files, therefore it says ASCII text, that is okay. But there's one more convention that is good to follow, and there is a reason also why we do that, is that in your script, whenever you're trying to do some kind of bash script or python script or anything, in the beginning you specify what is called as an interpreter. Okay, you specify that. Okay, so I mean, for now you can just understand that it tells the it tells the system that it is supposed to be a script file. That is all there is to it. But there's some some use cases for that also. Some sometimes it is helpful also. I'll describe that also when the time comes. But the idea is generally that when you are going to start a bash script, you give that interpreter in the beginning. Now how do you give that? The convention is you start a comment, and that's going to be a special comment. The very first line you write, okay, that is hash is a comment, so you can write anything, but the very first line you say something like this. Okay, that's a special kind of comment. It says exclamation and then slash bin slash mash. This is the path of the interpreter which is going to interpret this script. Okay, that is the idea. This is the benefit of having an interpreter. So in fact, I can just demonstrate what happens. So for example, do you have Python here? Python 3. Yeah, we have Python 3, right? So I just want to quickly demonstrate what I meant by having interpreter. So assume for a moment. So currently, what are we having in file type.sh? We are having a bash script, right? So we are writing bash commands and so on. Even bash scripts could be there. Assume that I'm writing a Python script. Okay. So I'll have something like maybe print hello, right? That's what happens. So this is a Python code now. So the advantage of specifying this interpreter is that when you're going to run it on the terminal, the system will figure out which interpreter to use to interpret this script. Okay, so if I do slash bin slash bash and say print hello, which is a Python command, and then try to run it, this is already executable, so that's fine. But if I try to run it, it will just say that syntax error happens and so on, because I mean, of course, this Python code is not supposed to be run by bash. Right now, the idea here in the interpreter comment is you can also say that this is going to be run by Python. So before that, I have to see the path to Python 3. Yeah, Python 3 resides in slash user slash bin slash Python 3. So that's okay. That is the interpreter by which we are going to run this. So instead of bash, if I want to use Python, by the way, this is not for your assignments. In general, I just wanted to uh, explain what this interpreter comment is for. Okay, so you have to use bash scripts for all your assignments. Okay, So now I have specified Python 3. Now what is going to happen is, now if I run this with /file types.sh, you see it is using Python to run this script now. It is not using bash to run. Okay, so that is the advantage of having this comment in the beginning. And I would request all of you, it's a recommendation, that whenever you're going to write a bash script, please make sure that you always start with this and specify /bin/bash as the interpreter for whatever scripts you're going to write. Okay, that's a good practice to do. All right, and then we'll go back to file star. That was our script. I come back and I do file types.sh. So this was already working, right? Yeah. And it says now the shell also understands. So earlier it was saying that it's just an ASCII text file. If you remember, previously we were running file on that. So it says it's an ASCII text file because it was not understanding it as a script. Now that we have given that interpreter comment in the beginning, the shell also understands that that is going to be a shell script and so on. The next file you see has been generated by the evaluation script itself. So we need not worry about that. This is the one that we have written, and it is a shell script because now that we have given the comment, it understands it. Okay, so let's quickly look at that again. Yeah, so you have hash exclamation bin bash, that is for the interpreter, and then file star. That is the solution. And for the final time, we're going to evaluate this once again. It passes all the test cases. Earlier also it was passing, but again, good idea to always specify the interpreter as bash. Very good. So
Sir,
after this, we will go to practice 2. Yeah, Mayank, please.
yes, sir. When we do shell synchro eval, the script.sh will automatically add it.
This one is added because sometimes what happens to evaluate also your submissions, some extra setting is required, right? You set up the thing because you remember this is talking about checking all the file types, but there are no files. Like how do we check and all that? So some extra setup that is needed, this script does, right? So we need not worry about that as such. As long as your evaluation says that it's successful and submission is successful, it's okay. And it also says all public test cases are passed, right? That is the idea. Sometimes it gets created, sometimes it might not get created, but that's internal to synchro and how they have configured that problem statement. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay.
Sir,
So with this, yeah,
sir, I have
please.
doubt. Sir, you have typed command of which, and then a command, then they give the path of interpreter. So
So
when
the thing
I'm
with
typing, when
hmm,
I'm typing in my VM which with bash command,
hmm,
then this gives the path user bin bash, but you have used as an
uh,
interpreter directly user bash.
okay. So the thing is, Bash is having so many aliases, right? So even in /bin, you find a Bash and so on. So this which Bash actually gives us. Yeah, I mean, you can give this one also. The thing is, some symbolic links are there to the interpreter, and it exists in several places. In case of bash, it is also there in /bin/bash. If you see there, it will also be there. But which gives the actual path, actually, I think. So therefore, you're seeing the entire path. It's okay, it does not matter. Like the thing
Yes,
is,
sir.
you have to somehow point to
Yes, sir, I'm
assume.
doing.
Okay, so assume that for Python also, Python is having a symbolic link somewhere else also. Assume that in /bin also you have Python for some reason, right? Then you can give that also. The idea is to somehow point to that. Okay, and you can give this one also, whatever which gives, that also is fine. Yeah. Okay.
Mm, yes, sir.
Very good. All right, that's a good
Sir,
question, by the way. Yes.
sir, whenever we will
uh,
create a shell script file, the
uh,
executive permission will be not there. So every time we have to add before submitting the
yeah,
file.
chmod plus x. Sometimes what happens is, if you don't give that, no, if you don't give that also, this in evaluation might pass or might not pass. Okay, it might pass because maybe the synchro itself is giving your script that permission and then executing it. But in some cases, synchro might not give that permission, right? So you have to give that. So it'll throw permission denied error and so on. So the good idea is to always give that. Whenever you are writing a script, then make sure you give that and then evaluate only. Okay, that is the
Okay,
idea.
sir.
Okay, so then we'll move on to practice 2. Do I already have it? No, I don't have it. So since I know the name, in fact, I can do ls again just for everyone to see. Okay, so now we are moving on to practice 2.1, this one. Okay, so for that,
Sir,
I'll do
PP
mkdir.
2.1, sir.
No, somebody requested me to do practice 2.1. So do you want to go through this one also? It's okay, yeah. Let us see quickly. Only one is there, right? So it's fine. PPA 2.1. I wanted to start with this one also. It's fine. Okay. All right. So I've created it. I go to this one. Note that I'm doing it in the home directory, okay, not in OPT. I'm going CD, PPA 2.1, synchro show. Okay, so some things are there. It says, I will just take a moment to read this. Okay, so it says encoding key is a file located at the path. This some path is there. The file encoding key is updated often and shared between multiple users. Okay, file is important to you, and you read the file could be deleted by mistake. Okay, create a file EK in the current working directory such that is always in sync with the. Okay, this is hard link, I think. No, to create a hard link, I think it is always in sync with the contents of encoding. And if
Yes.
encoding key gets deleted by any chance, content should be available in the file EK. Okay, directory encryption location located in the current working directory. Yeah, that's fine. And write your code in the file safety.sh. This is what the script is going to be, and it is not going to receive any arguments, and should not, and it should not produce any output also. Like we just had to create a hard link. You know about symbolic links and hard links, soft links and hard links and all that, right? I presume if you've gone through the lectures, you might know. So that's what. So discussion asks us
So
to create
soft
a hard
link.
link.
So soft link, I had issues.
Please, Punanda, yeah, go ahead with your doubt, please.
So basically, it's like hardly I understand that's basically a link pointing to the file itself in somewhere else. But for soft
Hmm.
link, what it is?
Okay, yeah. So both things are links. First of all, what's our pointers? The thing is, hard link is a hardware pointer in some sense, right? So you have two entities which are pointing to the same file on the hard disk. Okay, that's why if you know what inode numbers are, for two
Mm-hmm.
things which are hard linked, the inode number will be same. It's not a different entity as such. Okay,
Okay.
that's a hardware. It's pointing to the same thing. It's just
Hmm.
that it is there in the different location also, but it is actually going physically there, like on the hard disk. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Soft link on the other hand is more like a shortcut. It's not a shortcut as such, but I mean you get the idea, right? It's like a hyperlink sort of a thing, right? You have a thing which
Main
is
file
actually
resides somewhere else, right?
somewhere else, and it is, yeah, it is pointing to that. The soft link is actually a different entity, whereas hard link is yeah, that's the idea. Soft link is just a link in its
Oh.
truest sense, in some sense, right? That is the
Mm-hmm.
idea. So what happens with soft link is, so assume that you've created a soft link, right? Now now that original file gets deleted, right? Now the soft link will stop working. I'll maybe show that also. Okay, soft link will
Yes.
start working, but this is just a pointer. It's not an actual copy in some sense and so on.
Oh,
Whereas for
it's a
hard link,
shortcut.
yeah, it's like a shortcut. Whereas for
Mm-hmm.
hard links, what happens is, since you're pointing to the same file
Memory
on the hard
location.
disk, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
memory location, it is going to reside. Even the other one is deleted, you'll have one copy remaining,
So hard
somewhere
link is
else.
better. That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, better or worse depends on the problem at hand. But yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
in fact, for this one, you have to do hard link only. So yeah, I'll
Okay.
just do this one. So okay,
Sir,
so yeah, please.
sir, suppose there is something present inside the current file, and that current file also, the current directory, and that current directory also has a soft link to some another location. So can we
Okay.
see the content of that directory in the current directory, or we have to go to the other link and then see the content?
No, you can see. So in fact, okay, so this is a good question. I'll just make it out. So assume that I have a directory here called A. Okay, and assume that I go to A and I touch a file called test. Maybe. Okay, I come back. I use the tree command to show you the structure. So this is the structure. Okay, I'm in PPA 2.1. Inside I have A, and in A I have test.txt. It's fine. Now I do mkdir B. I do tree again. So you have one file, a folder here, which is A, and inside of that you have test, another folder B. Now assume that I go to B and I do ln minus s. That is for soft link. If you don't give s, then it is a hard link. With s, it becomes a symbolic or soft link, right? And I say, I give the path, right? So I say dot slash a slash test, and it's called link, maybe link, right? So if I do this, yeah. So you see what happens in B. Okay, I'll do tree maybe. Go in the parent and do tree. So you see what happens. Okay, So A you have test.txt. In B I have link.txt, which is actually pointing to from here. And one more thing, symbolic links are, if you give relative path, it is actually you know yeah, it is actually related to the link. So since link resides here in B, and that points to dot dot slash a slash test.txt, so from here it will come back one level, and it'll point to test.txt. So that you can do now. In fact, you can create links to folders also. I think that is what you asked. So okay, I can go to B, and then I can have C, which actually points to dot dot slash a, right? That's still possible. Yeah. No, I think I did the other way around, right? It'll be called C ln minus s. Yes. Yeah. So if you do this now, you see C points to a, right? So, and in a, that in a we have test.txt, right? So and I'm in B, by the way. Okay. Now if I do lsa, okay, sorry, it's C, right? lsc ls c slash. No, I'm not able to list that. But if I go to C, yeah, C, it's pointing to C, it's fine. Is it the case that in A also we have something? I have to come back and check. Oh, sorry. This came in for some reason. I'll just remove this. Okay. So what I was saying is, in A you have test.txt, right? And then if you go to B, right? In B you have C, which is actually pointing to A, from the parent. So if you go to CDC, so I'm in B and then C. If I do ls here, I can see the contents of A. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Because that's what the link is pointing to.
So can you go a little slow? So you are in A and B are two separate directories, and inside B there is C.
Yeah, inside B there is C, which is pointing to actually A. That's a soft-link to A. So I can go back and do tree. So you see, this is the situation. A is having this. B is having C, which is actually pointing to directory A, which is from the parent, of course. This A is that A. And this link is a separate thing. So yeah, you get the idea. So if I do lsc, now since C is pointing to A, it will list the directory structure of this particular directory. I mean, that's what he asked, right?
Understood, sir.
Can I list the contents without going there using links? So of course, since it's a link, if you do ls on that, basically it goes there. Now one more thing. So now I have this link.txt, which is actually pointing to a slash test.txt, this one. Now I mentioned that symbolic links, if the actual file gets removed, they'll not work. So I'll just demonstrate that. So I do rm a slash test.txt. Okay, from here, PPA 2.1, I'm removing a slash test.txt. I do tree again, you see it is gone, and it has become red also. Still pointing to that, but it is red. And if I were to do cat on that, it is in B, right? So B slash link.txt. So it says no such file or directory, because of course a test.txt no longer exists. I removed it, no? Therefore, this link got broken in some sense. The symbolic link is not
Sir,
there. But
while creating symbolic links, is it a good practice to use the actual path instead of relative path?
absolute path, I think you mean.
Yeah, absolute path, correct.
Yes.
I mean, it depends on the situation. See, if you give absolute path also, it is fine. One thing you have to just remember, that when you are giving relative path, it is relative from that of the link. I mean, the location of the link.
Yes.
Wherever the link is going to be, it is relative from there. So if you understand that, then it is okay. But if you are in confusion, I think if you give absolute paths also, it's fine. But sometimes it creates difficulties in certain situations, right? So it depends. I mean, I cannot give you a general answer. It depends on what kind of you know, situation you have.
Okay.
Okay.
That location will anyway won't be deleted if it is the relative path, if my understanding.
Yeah. I mean, it still remain pointing to.
Yes.
In fact, in the case of absolute, also it'll keep on pointing regardless of whether it exists or not. In fact, you can create symbolic links which point to something which is non-existent altogether. That's also possible, right? You can point to anything.
Sir,
Yeah, Mike, please.
sir, this link.csv is linked with a slash text.csv, no? So this is hard link or what?
No, this is soft link. This is soft link.
Okay.
This is soft link. Hard link I'll describe now. So okay, since we are already here, the structure is there, so I'll just describe hard link also. So okay, now I'm going to go to A and touch a file called maybe example, something different, example.txt. Okay, I have this. In fact, I go here and then also say something, hello. All right, I'll just say hello. Fine. If I do cat, I have this hello in the txt file. That's okay. Now I have this. Okay, now instead of this link.txt being a soft link, I'm going to create a hard link in B. So I go to B. I just remove this. No longer exists, right? Yeah. C is still there. C is pointing to A. That's fine. C is a soft link, and I'm going to do ln. Okay. I have to give where to where, like link to where. So link is going to be to /a/example.txt, and the name of this file will be maybe let's say example, maybe call backup. We call it backup.txt. It's fine. So I have backup.txt and I haven't done anything. Okay, this is a hard link. Interestingly enough, if I cat backup.txt now, even though I have not copied it, right? You see hello here. That's the nice thing about it, because it's actually pointing to the same object on the disk. Yeah, that's why the inode number is also same for these two files. Now the difference is, if I come back and do tree, situation is something like this. You have A, which is example.txt, and in B we have backup. This is not pointing to anything. Okay, there's no arrow as such. It's just there. Okay, so the thing is, now if I go to A, in fact I'll do nano from A. Okay, A example.txt. I'm modifying example. So I have changed this file from directory A. Okay, maybe, and I save it, control O. I'm saving it in A, control X, right? And I'm going to cat from B now, backup.txt. Okay, you see changes are being reflected. So these two files are in sync. That's what the question was asking. Okay, even though I modified A from A, B it also get reflected because it's actually pointing to the same uh, file on the disk. Is that
Sir,
okay? Yes, please.
ln is used to create a soft link, right?
Now ln, if you do without the minus s, now if you do minus s, then that's soft. But
Okay.
don't do, yeah, then if you just do ln, that's a hard link. Okay.
Okay, got it.
So now if I delete the content in A, it will still be there in B and vice versa.
Not the content, by the way. Okay, one okay, slight nuance. So if I go to, okay, that's a good question. So if I go to A example.txt and actually delete the thing from here and save it, no, the other file from other file also it will get deleted. What do you mean by deleting? Is deleting the file itself. Okay, not the content. If you just clear the content but the file remains, it will also get reflected in the backup, similar to how I change it. So even if I remove maybe I remove everything, I save it. Right now I cat from B backup will also be removed, because I mean I just removed it and saved it. That's not the idea. What you have to do is assume that something is there and that is getting reflected in backup. That's there, and I'm just going to remove the file. I'm not clearing the content. I just remove example. Now backup is there. I'm removing example.txt. It's gone. I do tree again. So the situation is like this. A, nothing is there. In B you have backup, and I do cat B backup. Backup remains. Okay, that is the difference between soft link and hard link. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Only after deleting we'll able to distinguish between the two things.
Not necessarily. I mean, you can still distinguish by the path, no? Because I'm doing cat on a entirely different file. I modified from A, but I'm doing cat on B, right? So it's slightly different. It's still okay, but the
Yes,
idea
sir.
is that
But
even
even in soft link we could have done that, no? Cat
no,
on that soft link would have been
yeah,
able to.
okay. Let's try that. So the thing is, okay, just to make it clear, okay, let's start again. So let's call it example. Somebody has raised their hand. I'll come to your question. Just give me one moment, please. Let's finish this one. Okay, so maybe I have hello again. Save it. I have it in example. I'll come back, do tree so that we can see. Okay, A we have example, and in B I go. I just remove this backup, and create a soft link now. Now I'm not doing ln. I'm doing ln minus s, and I'll call it yeah. This is the path, right? To /a/example. This is the two, and the name of the link will be, let's say, backup.txt. It's fine. Same thing. This time it is soft only. That's the difference. I go to tree. So okay, so you have A example.txt similar to before, and you have B backup, which is actually pointing to A example. Now the thing is two things. One is okay, let's think about whether it is, yeah, it will still reflect. So for example,
So
but there's
because
still a,
backup.txt is just a pointer, no sir.
yeah, it is, but the difference is, I'll let you know. So okay, so from A I'll just do line 1. Okay, and I can cat B backup. So it's okay. The thing is, if the idea is that if it gets deleted, now if I remove
Yes,
A,
sir.
this is right now you cannot
The
cat.
difference will be there.
Yeah, that's
So only after deleting we'll come to know about the difference.
okay. Yes, in that sense, yes. But even the inode numbers are different, if you know.
Yeah. I mean, we can check whether something is a soft link or hard link,
Ha,
but
ha,
I'm just telling.
okay. Yeah, in that way, if you want to think about that, that's also okay. Like only if you delete it, then you cat it. You see, it is no longer there because it was just pointing.
Yes, sir.
And the other way is to, of course, if you see an arrow is pointing to something and so on, then of course it's a soft link. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the
So,
you
so
you
basically, if we delete in
please.
use, if it is a soft link, we delete one file, the main file, everything else will get deleted, and
Ha,
that
ha.
is not the case in the hard link.
Not the case in the hard link. Very good. Yes, that's correct. And by the way, if you copy, and one more distinction between ln, the hard link, and copy. So if it seems as if in ln also we are copying, but that's not the case. Okay. In ln, the files are in sync. Okay. So if you change one file, the other file also gets changed. But if you do copy, that's a different file altogether. That's a different inode number and so on. So if you change something, it will not get reflected to the other file as well. So that's the difference between linking and copying. Very good. So it is helpful for having some backup and so on. Now,
So if I want, if something is important to me, I'll definitely want a hard link, right? So what is the use of soft link then?
yeah, I mean, in that case, if you want to do backup and so on, similar to what this question is asking, you do hard link. Soft links are also helpful, Tarang. Okay, maybe, okay, so maybe at this point, I'm not getting a good example, to illustrate that, but I think as we move along, we see other weeks also, we'll be able to realize the benefit of soft links as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So then, I mean, soft links are useful, for instance, in, so assume that there's some dependency that you want to use that resides somewhere on your system, but you want to, let's say, you have a program that is relying on some dependencies and library files and so on, and you want to have a path from, that is relative to your program that is going to use that library and so on. In that case, you use soft links, right? Because that is actually pointing to the actual library residing on the system and so on. So that's what happens. Okay. All right. So that's what we have. Yeah. Before moving on to practice, the other question. Is there any other question that someone else would like to? I see one raised hand. Karthikeyan. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir, you are showing BPA 2.1.
Sorry. Come again, please.
So he
Sir,
wants
you
to
are solving
proceed.
BPA 2.1, but you left in between.
Yeah. This one we have to solve, right? Yeah. Exactly. So we are moving forward. I will solve it. So okay. So I think most of the things we have already discussed. So there's a file called encoding key that is located at this path. Okay. And I have to have a thing called EK, which is going to be similar to backup. EK in the current working directory, such that is always in sync with the contents of this particular file encoding key. And if encoding key gets deleted, and now it's going to be hard link, right? By any chance. In the content should be available in the file EK. So EK is your backup, and that should be a hard link to encoding key under this path. Okay, encryption 2-level binary positive offset and so on. So okay, let us try doing that. And that this linking we had to do in the script called safety.sh. So let's have it. Okay.
So
And it
we
also
have to
says,
create that path structure, or it will already be there. The
it
encryption
says no,
slash
folder will
two.
automatically be created before you. So you have to just write the script. Okay, the structure will be created for you.
Oh,
The evaluation script will take care of creating the structure for
so
you.
we do not have to do mkdir that structure thing.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay, sir.
no,
Okay.
not that. Okay, we have to assume that the directory encryption is located That is it's there in the current working directory. Sometimes you need to do init, but since it is not asking us to do init, we'll not do init. Okay, we'll just do the script itself. So again, same thing. We go to nano, and this time it's going to call be safe. What is that? Safety, right? Safety.sh. Very good. And the usual convention, starting with bin bash. Okay, and the command should be what? So it says, okay, let me just quickly copy the full path. No, and paste it. So this is the path, and the name of the file is encoding key.
So
That's okay.
how
I'll
to
just
get out of the text editor?
Control X or Command X if you are using Mac. Okay. Again, so bin bash. I have copied the path. So we are doing what? We are doing a link to this file, positive offset, and then you have encoding key, right? That's the file. And the name of the newly created link will be EK. That's going to reside in the current working directory. So I just say EK. Will be there in the current directory. Okay, from wherever the script is run, and this is relative to that. And that's all there is to it. So we are just linking this particular file, hard link, creating a file called hard link called EK. That's all I think. So I'll do Control O, Enter.
Sir,
If yeah, please
sir,
go
we
ahead.
ln slash double dot slash this right now.
Yeah, the double dot I was doing because of that particular structure. Because see, the file to which I was creating the link was residing one level above in the parent directory, and then I had to go to A and so on. So here it says it is there in this path. This thing is in the current working directory itself. So see, the directory encryption is located in the current working directory. So I need not go back as such. So dot dot double dot is to go back, no, one level up to the parent directory and so on. It's like a going
Yes.
back. So since it is there, we don't not need to go back since I'm not having that. Okay, fine. And since I'm not using minus s also, it's going to be a hard link, which is okay. One more thing I'm missing. Yeah, okay. So I have to do chmod, right? So I've written my script now. I'll do chmod u plus x safety.sh so that it becomes executable. And after that, I'll do synchro eval. All test cases passed.
Sir, I am doing this
So can you
same
show
thing,
the
but
script?
I am getting wrong.
Yeah, I'll come to your questions. This is the script. Somebody asked about the script. Can you check for any spelling mistakes or something like that?
Sir, I am writing ln then slash encryption.
Oh
Is
no, there's
this
no slash, there's no slash. So if you do
okay?
slash, then it goes to the root. It becomes an absolute path. Here we have to give relative path. If you do slash, then it will be that slash, no? The beginning slash home slash and
Sir, we
also
can write
that.
dot slash then.
Dot slash is okay. Dot slash is okay. Dot slash or without anything. Either way it works. Okay.
It can be done also on portal.
This one, no, I don't think is it PB? Yeah, this one can be done. But yes, because
Yes, sir,
uh,
done, sir. I am
yeah,
writing the extra slash in the front of encryption for
no.
getting
So
error.
that is yeah, it'll be okay. I think if you don't give that, it's fine.
Yes, sir, correct.
All right, thank you. So we'll move to now. I think it's okay, right? We'll move to practice 2.1.
Sir. After
Please.
typing that encoding key, okay. Then how you got this one, sir? Test cleared and all. Test passed and all. How you found it?
Yeah. After, so see what happens is
After
once you've
that,
written your script, yeah, you have to do chmod u plus x as I explained, and after that you have to do synchro space
evaluate. Okay.
eval. This
Okay.
is yeah,
Okay.
that is to evaluate or submit your solution. Okay, so moving on, I'll do mkdir since I know the name. I'll just do that.
Sir,
Practice
but how
underscore
to
2 point.
come out of script, sir? That after typing it,
Control
how?
X. You're using nano, right?
Yes, nano.
Control X in that case. So if I do nano, you see exit is this control X is exit. So we do control X, it'll come out of that. Okay. So practice. Just give me one moment, please. Yeah. Okay. Practice 2.1. And go inside. Um, Yeah,
Sir,
this is clear.
after control, sorry, sir, after control X, what we have to type, sir?
Synchro eval.
No,
Synchro
sir,
space eval.
control X, it is not coming out, sir. It is saying save or not save.
Save modified buffer. Yeah, so you should say yes. You want to save it, right? So you
Yeah,
say
I
yes.
saved it yes also. Then it is saying file name help.
And then press enter. Press enter after that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So what happens is, okay. So assume that I'm creating a script here, right? So there are two things. Maybe I write something. Okay. I don't save it. I just directly exit. So it asks whether I want to save it or not. So if I say no, then I'll come out. It will not be saved. If I want to save it, I have to say yes. Once I say yes, then it'll ask for the file name. So file name is already given. So I have to press enter. So then it will save and exit. That's what happens. Now if I make a modification here, okay, but I exit it and it says save modified buffer. I say no by pressing it. It'll come out still, but the changes will not be saved. You see. So that's the difference. Okay. Just remove it.
Sir, can you tell what is the meaning of .sh extension?
.sh extension meaning, I mean, there's no meaning as such. It just says there's a shell, similar to how you have .txt, right? .txt says there's a text file. .html says it's HTML file. .js is saying there's JavaScript. It's just a convention. So similarly, sh is for shell. It's a short for shell script.
So
Okay.
bash and shell, is there any difference?
Yeah, shell is the okay. So shell. Okay, how do you put it? So shell is the thing that is that you're using, right? But bash is one type of shell. There are several types of shells. Okay. So bash is one type of shell that you have. Is that okay?
Okay. So if I want to run any script, I have to use .sh extension.
Yeah, the extension is not necessary as long as two things are holding. One, you have given executable permissions to your script. That is one. The other is you have given interpreter in the in the script. So assume that okay. So if you don't want to do it without, if you want to do it without extension, that also possible. So assume that I have file called script, but I don't give the extension. Extensions are not much making much difference in Linux at least. So I say nano script, and then two things must suffice. One is I have to give the interpreter. Okay, so in this case I'll give bin bash, and I say echo hello. Okay, that is my script. I have no extensions. I save it. This is just called script. So if I try to do just that, it'll say permission denied, of course, because no permissions are there. So I have to again do chmod u plus x script. No extensions are there. Now two things, both of the things are satisfied, right? One is I am having interpreter specification in the beginning. The comment is there, and I have given permissions to execute also. So if you see it is becoming green as well as I'm having the executable permission here, right? So if I not do dot slash script, it will actually run that script. So it is running it and saying hello because that's what it was asked to do. Is that okay? The extensions are
Yes.
not that useful, but again, the paths and everything in the evaluation script and so on, we have always followed this convention of having the extension also because that helps, right? So understand by the name itself, you understand that okay, this is going to be a shell script and so on. Okay, as such, it is not making a difference, but it's good to have that. So please
Sure.
make sure that you have.
Now,
Please.
if it would have had the other extension, suppose .txt, and I would have written that command ./script
Uh,
.txt, then I think
it's still
hello
the
would
same.
not show, right?
No, no, it will still show up. That's what. So this is just a name. Extensions are just a way of naming things. It's not actually making any difference. So if I do
Okay, okay.
mv script to script.txt also, right? Two things that still suffice is still holding, right? One is it is executable permission, and the second is you're having interpreter in the beginning. And if you do ./script.txt also, it is still executable. That's why we say always be careful when giving executable permissions to files. You might assume that it's just a
Anything
normal
will
text
run.
file. Anything could run. That is.
Sir,
So,
sir,
Sir,
sorry for disturbing you.
uh,
Ch mode u plus x
uh-huh.
script. If I put that, it is saying ch mode cannot access script.
So you might not have written your script yet. Once you write it and then you do chmod, right?
Okay,
Like I
you have
have,
written no, sir, that you have written a lengthy one. That last what you have written, I have saved it also, sir. Yes, also.
yeah. So can you do ls and see what all files are there in your directory,
Okay.
and then accordingly, yeah, you can do ls and then see, right? Maybe that script is saved under a different name or something like that. Therefore, it says does not exist.
LS it says safety sh, safety.sh.
Okay, okay, that is for the other one, right? Yeah, safety data set. So then you have to do chmod on that only, right?
Yes, sir.
Chmod u plus x and then give that name. Okay.
CF
Or
mode u plus x and then
space and then that name safety data set,
okay.
whatever name of the
Thank
script
you.
is.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So fine.
Sir,
Yes, please.
uh, can I show, means present my screen? Actually, I am getting something weird out, means something wrong output whenever I am doing the PPA 2.1.
Okay, you can show. So meanwhile, I just want to just quickly show the problem statement for this one so that others could look at. So this is practice 2.1. It says file name final.txt is there in current working directory. That is going to contain some text. Okay, you don't want it to be edited. Okay, this is very easy. Okay, so it says I have to just remove the write permissions, right? Write a bash command, and this is a command, by the way. You don't need to even write a script here. You just do it on the terminal. To remove write permission, I have shown you this already, right? U minus W.
W. Yes, sir.
Yeah. User from this file do not edit any other file permission. So you don't give it in numerical way. You have to give it like plus minus. So minus W from user, and you don't have to do anything with the other permissions. And since the file is say it is asking about doing it on final.txt, but the file is not there, right? File is not there, so you have to do synchro init before doing it. So if you do synchro init, you'll get this file. So currently, if I do ls, I'll not have it. I'll just remove this one for this one was for the example only, right? Okay. So I do ls, nothing is there. So I'll do synchro init so that I get the file. Now I get the file final.txt. Now and now you know what to do, right? I mean, so currently I have it write permissions. I have to remove this part to remove it from the user. Okay, so I'll just give you some time to do that. Yes, somebody asked about some issue they are facing. Can you share it? Go ahead and share your screen, please.
Yes, I have shared my screen.
Yeah, please. Can you go to your
Sir,
terminal?
sir, in my case, that safety.sh is giving no odd link. Fail to create odd link. Okay. Fail to create odd link.
Okay, so to
And
whoever is sharing the screen, I think you're trying to modify script.sh, and that is not what you're supposed to write our script. This is the evaluation script. Okay, so they mentioned that you have to do it in safety.sh, right? That is the one that we have to write. Okay, so you can exit from this one by using control X, and yeah, can you do nano on the other one? Safety.sh, is that there? Have you already created that?
Yes,
You have to be
yes.
careful about the name. Safety.
no, but I have not created the safety.sh.
Oh,
I
you have
have
not. Okay, no. Okay,
created
okay, okay.
script.sh.
I see. Okay, no. So for this problem, you have to write it in safety.sh. No, we have given the name in the statement, in the problem statement. If you do synchro show also, they are saying that you have to write safety.sh. That is okay. All
Okay,
right, just
we
give me
have
one
to
moment, please. I'll
create a
come back.
safety.sh. Okay.
Yeah, in the instructions it is there. Yeah, you can stop sharing your screen now, maybe. Okay,
Okay, yeah, thanks.
I'll come back in a moment. Thank you so much.
Sir, can you show us like how to select all the files with a particular extension in a directory or a folder?
Okay, so then we are going to start. So this one is easy, right? I think most of you might have tried it. So I just want to do chmod u minus w. So before that, okay, an interesting thing. I just want to evaluate without doing anything. Let's say if it is failing. Yeah, it is failing, right? It fails because we have not done the thing that they were asking. Okay. Now I'm going to do that. So chmod u minus w, because you just have to remove the write permissions, and final.txt, and then evaluate directly without doing anything else. Just evaluate it passes. Okay, very nice. Now we'll move on to 2.2. Is this okay, or any other questions before we go to
Sir, why
2.2?
you use
I have a
U
question.
minus W, sir? You normally use U plus X, no, sir?
Yeah, because it depends on what kind of modification you need to do. If you come back to the statement, no, this is weak to problem one. It says write a bash command to remove write permissions, right? That's what of user. So that's why I have written u minus w, right? Because
Okay.
to remove from the user write permissions, the permissions to write. U plus X I used to give executable permission to script files. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. Okay, is that okay?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
All
So,
right, very nice.
so let's say
Uh,
in this particular directory, like whatever
hmm,
this example we did, we want to select all the text files and want to change their permissions, multiple text files. This can be in different directories. How can we do that, sir?
yeah, that also you can do. No, you can do it. See, okay. So have you read about brace expansion yet, or is it not discussed yet?
I don't think so.
Sir, we have used it, but it was not discussed, I guess,
Where did we use it?
Uh,
in few of the programming assignments to just
yeah, I mean,
automate
if
the
you
things.
want to, if you want to use that, then you can use it. So brace expansion is a nice thing. So I'll just quickly demonstrate. I don't want to go into details of that for now. But yeah, I mean, there's no not much detail to it also. But the thing is, you can give some kind of a pattern, and it kind of expands it. So the idea is, so assume that I'm going to touch some files. Okay. So how do I do that? I do A, B, C like this. So ABC is created. All of them are empty. Right. Then assume that I want to like do it something like this. So I say A1, one A, one B, one C, and then 2A, 2B, 2C, and so on up to, let's say I want to do it up until 10C. Now that becomes difficult. You cannot keep doing this like this. So that's where brace expansion helps you. What it can allow you to do is, so you want to say something like file, or if you don't want to say file, that's also fine. So if I just say like this, say this is brace, you give the opening curly bracket, and then I say 1 to 5. I'll not go up until 10, so only 5 till 5. Okay, so 1 dot dot 5. If I just do that, what happens? Okay, so you see 1 2 3 4 5, so it expands it. 1 2 3 4 5 is created. Okay, now I can just add another brace expansion to that and say A to C, A dot dot C, right? Now it will create one A, one B, one C. So each of the expansions that happens there, it's like a nested loop. So for
Yes.
each of the elements there, it'll just expand this one also. So it'll go to 1A, then 1B and 1C, then 2A, 2B, 2C, all the way up until 5C, that is. If I run this, then you get something like this. Okay, so something similar you can also use to do that. And similarly, you can do it for different directories and so on. So in fact,
So
if you have different,
if we want to make the 1A, 1B, and all these things in the one folder, means one directory, then we have to write touch, then one, then slash, then this, no? Curly
so
braces.
assume, yeah, that's possible. So let's say, how do I put it? So in fact, I'll just remove these things for now. Yes. Okay, done. So what I'm saying is, assume that I have a directory. I'll call it test. And inside of the directory, I want to create files, empty files named file 1A up until file 5C. Assume that. So then what is the way to write the command? I'll say touch. Okay. And where do I need to do that? I need to do it in test. I can have anything before it, before the brace expansion. I can have anything. So I'll just call it file. And then after that, I want to write 1 to 5. Right. And for all of this, I'll have A to C. This is all that you need. Okay. To do this touch, then you go to test. You see it is created, right? So file, and after that I had this, right? So file 1A, 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B, 2C, all the way up until 5 file C. Sorry, file 5C. Okay, that's a tongue twister.
So for directory, we'll use dir.
Yeah, if you want to create directories, yes. So that is also possible. So assume that I remove it from here, and I want to create directories like this. So I have this, right? Touch, yeah. So instead of touch, I can use the brace expansion with any command. So I do mkdir. That's also fine. So inside of test, instead of calling it file, I can call it directory also. Anything. I mean, you can call it directory also. It's not a problem as such. Let's call it example. Okay. So these will be directories because I'm doing it with mkdir, right? So example 1A, 1B, and so on up until 5C. Done. If I go to test now, to ls, you see all these directories are created. Example 1A, 1B.
Okay. I thought that file was I mean, argument which we have
No,
passed.
no, that's
Okay.
what. It's just a part of the
It's
name.
just a name.
It's just a name. Yeah, it's a
Okay,
pattern.
got it.
Sir, this I understand, but my question was this: like, if I have a particular extension, let's say .txt, in
Hmm.
multiple places within my directory, how can I
Hmm.
change permission for all of them at once?
Yeah, so there are several ways to do it. One is this one also. This is also possible. I'll show you maybe with a small example. And this with brace expansion also is possible. The other command is called find. Okay, so with find also you can do that. Okay,
Okay.
so that's also possible. But I'll show you with brace expansion what happens. So assume that how do I put it? Okay, you have to do rmdir, is it? Okay, yeah, gone. Okay, so assume that I have a directory. I think somebody has asked a question before it, but I'll just quickly finish this and come to their question. Okay, so assume that I have three directories ABC, right? And for some reason, I'm creating scripts in all these three directories. Okay, so I'll just do touch, uh, A comma V. So this is also possible, A comma B comma C. And I'm touching something, so I'll call it script.sh. What it'll do, it'll just go in A, so it'll become A slash script.sh, B slash
Yes.
script.sh, C
Yes.
slash script.sh, like that. Okay, so I do touch. Now if I do tree, what happens? So I have like this structure like this. So I have A, inside of that I have script, B script, C script. Okay, now the thing is, you're saying that assume that I want to give executable permissions to all of them. Then
Mm.
similarly, so instead of using touch, I can use chmod now, U plus X. Okay, I have to go to A, go to B, go to C, and inside of that I have a script. Now again, similarly, you can keep using this, right? Script data such. So now what happens? Root tree, you see all of them will become green, saying that all of them you've changed permissions. Is that okay?
Okay. Okay. Let's say the name of that particular file is not script.sh in all the folders. Only the
Okay.
extension is same. The name
Huh?
can be different. Then
Name can be anything. Is that what you're saying?
yes.
Then we'll make
Okay.
We can do
star.sh.
Star dot
star.sh.
is it? Yes. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
That's what. So for now, what I
So,
can do
sir,
is please.
while creating using the touch, we if we want to create multiple directories and within that directories we are creating that script.sh file,
Hmm?
don't we have to provide that minus p hyphen p option?
Yeah, you are correct. So um, the thing is actually no. The thing is in touch. In touch, you don't have that ability
Okay.
to create directories and then go inside and then do that. So in that way, I think at least the way I am able to remember right now, you have to do it in two steps. One step is to create directories and then do touch. But talking about p, the p command, what happens is, so assume that I am in test, okay, and I just do d slash my dir. Okay, now d is not there. In test, there is no D. I have A and B and C. Okay, and I'm doing mkdir D slash my dir. So I'm just saying to the system that I want a directory called my directory inside D. I mean D itself does not exist. So it will say no such file or directory because before going to create my directory, D has to exist. Okay. But if you want to create the parent directory, but you want to ask the command to create the parent directories for you, then you say P. Now if I say P, it will create the parent directory as well as the child directory. So in this case, it'll create the D directory for you, and then it'll go inside, it'll create the my dir as well. So that's what P is helping you with. You see,
Okay,
now
sir.
D is
So it
created.
is not available with touch.
In touch,
Okay.
that's difficult. So what you can do is you can use mkdir with P. So you create the
Mhm.
entire structure once. Once
Yes.
that is created, then you do touch accordingly with brace
Okay,
expansion or
sir.
whatever you want to do. Okay. All right. Very good. So that's done. Now I'll come back to the actual problem. I forgot what it was. Okay. Oh yeah, this is done, right? Okay. So this was done. All right. So 2.2 now. Okay. Tab is very helpful. Okay. So use that judiciously. Uh, mkdir practice 2.2. Yes, that's correct. Um, and go inside. Oops.
Oh, sir, so you are using tab. I
So
was
you do.
wondering how you are doing it so fast.
No, tab is like this. So you have P, right? I write P and then I press tab. So okay, not here because here nothing is there. So go come back and then so assume that
Yeah, I
the
understood.
access
Sir,
to
understood.
2.1 and 2 is created. So then yeah, so you press tab, you get all that. Let's say keeps giving you that. If you do PR and then A C T I C like that. I mean you can write it entirely or uh, uh, subset of that. We just begin with that, right? That's what the idea is, and then keep pressing tab. It'll keep giving you. So if it's a PP, for example, A, and then so it gives you all the options like that, and so on. That's what happens. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Coming back. 2.2 clear. Sorry, synchro show. Okay. So this time you have to write a script. It says mime type. Okay. This one also you have to use the file command of some file. Okay. The name of the file is some file. Yeah. So make sure you understand what it is asking. Okay. It's saying I have to get the MIME type. I'll come to what MIME types are of some file. This is the file for which you have to get the MIME type. Get the MIME type and print it. And it also says you have to give the file command. Okay, that's okay. And initially you might not find any file. That's okay. Other files are
So
automatically
do we
created.
get these hints in the OPP?
I mean, it depends. It depends on the problem. Maybe some problems, for some problems you have it, for some problems you don't have it. But be careful. These are very initial set of problems, right? This is only week 2, so you're getting these hints. Moving on, and the problems, the kind of problems that you'll see in OPP and so on, there'll be several ways of doing it, possibly, ideally, and that's what I'm thinking. It might be that there are more than at least more than one way of doing the problem. Then it is up to you, right? So we may give hints, we may not give hints also. I mean, that is something that at this moment I cannot comment on. This is only week 2, right? Perhaps it depends on the nature of the problem also. Yeah, somebody is saying tab is the secret sauce to be fast on Linux. That's correct. Okay. Um, nice. So what I was saying is, yeah, so the MIME type, the thing is, see, remember file, right? We were doing touch and then files. I'll interactively show that. So let's say I do touch, let's call it A, right? Then I'm doing file A. You remember file star we were doing, right? So do it for all files. To do file A, it just shows. It shows empty. That's okay. Now assume that, okay, for empty files, how do you show MIME type? Maybe, mm, maybe I can have something, right? Yeah. So assume that, how do I put it? Assume that I create something. So nano, let's say it's hello, save it, come back, um, save. I look at so it'll show. Yes, synchro show. Yes. What I'm saying is, yeah. So if I do file now, it says ASCII but text. But this is the one kind of thing. So MIME, the full form of this is multimedia. Uh, Sorry, I also forgot. Uh, okay, sorry, I'll just take a look at that and I'll let you know. So the thing is, on the internet, actually, internet mail extensions or something like that is there. So what happens is, if something goes on the internet, no, the browser has a very specific convention by which it describes the types of files. Okay, if the image is coming to you, then it'll be described in some way. Similarly, the text files are described in some way and so on. So assume for an example that if something is an image, then it says something like this: image and forward slash, and then what kind of image you have. So if it is JPEG, it will be something like this: image slash JPEG, and so on. So if you have, let's say if you have a CSV file, then it says text CSV. That's what it says, right? Text slash CSV and so on. So all such MIME types are there. There are lots of them, MIME types. Okay. So in the file command, currently you're getting the normal human readable type, right? I mean, just says ASCII text and so on. So if you want to know the MIME type of some file in that format, I want to know, right? Then you say file double hyphen my, and how do I know this? Because I can check the help. I can check the manual for file. I can check the help for file command, and I'll find this argument, this parameter. Okay, I think it is MIME type only, and then I give that a. Yeah. So if I say file and MIME type, if I give this flag, this is like an argument I give. If I give that and then ask for the type, then it gives in that format. So it says A is text plain. So text file which is plain. I mean, and so on. It's an ASCII text, it's text plain. If it is something else also, it'll say that is what it is. Okay, so this is the MIME
Sir,
type format of.
what will be file minus I then?
Okay, so that for that I'll have to check. So file. Okay, let me do file help. File double hyphen help will give me the manual. I, right? I might be a shorthand. Let me see.
Yes, sir.
Ah, I is also MIME. Yeah, that is also fine. Yeah, very good. So that's also you can use. You can also use MIME type and so
Yes.
on. Okay, very good. So I mean, these are aliases in some sense. Okay, I clear it. So that's the idea. So if I just do MIME and then give the file name, it just gives the normal type. But I want to know the MIME type, then I have to specify MIME. I think MIME also works, is it? Okay, that's a specific kind of. It also gives the character set and so on. What kind of type we need, or what if I do I? Uh, okay, that is also like that. And for MIME type is slightly different, no? Oh, okay. So for MIME type, you only get this. Okay, I don't know which format they want it in. Synchro show saying anything about that? Which print the MIME type of and so on and so forth. This file command refer to manual of this. It's okay. Okay, they are not specifying what type of. I mean, in this also there are several types of output formats. So it's okay. I think as long as you're getting the MIME type, it should be okay. So we'll just use MIME type for that. Okay, and right, we have to write a script. Now this time the name of the script is script.sh. Write this script which is going to print the MIME type of what? Print the MIME type of some file. Okay, which is located basically in the current directory. This is the current directory, right? Home folder slash se2001 practice 2.2. That's okay. So let us start writing the script now. We know what to do, right? So this is something like this: file, MIME type, and some file. I know some file is not there, so it will say no such file or directory, but that's the idea. This is the command. If you do evaluation on this, it should pass, because it says initially you may not find any file. It's okay. Once you do
Sir, if we
evaluation,
only
it
write
immediately.
file mine, if we only write file hyphen mine.
Yeah, that also works. I mean, some file is not there. Let me try doing it with A. A is there, right? Yeah. So in this case, you get the character set also along with the MIME type. Okay. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Sir,
Very good.
do we have to write the absolute path for this file? Some file that
No.
is slash se2001.
No. I mean, if you want to write that, that's okay. But we already it's already said that it is going to be in the current directory, right? If something is in the current directory, then it is always better to use relative path, right? I mean, even though you can write the full path, but why would you do that?
Yes.
Because you already know it's in the current directory itself, right? Okay, so okay, let's start. So I'm going to write a script now. We know the solution, so I'm just writing it in a script now. Again, same thing. We start with this. Sorry, moment.
Sir,
In
how
that,
you went here, sir? Nano, you put nano, sir?
no, and the name of the file I want to create. This is a new file I'm creating. Script.sh.
Yes,
New file. Okay. All right. I'm assuming it's okay. I come back. Bin dash. And what was the command again? File. MIME type is the argument, and what is the name of the file? Some file, right? Some file. Some file is not there, but it's okay. Some file. Control O. Name is
Sir, I
script.sh.
have provided the exact path in that.
Like this, is it? Slash this one, right?
Yeah,
Home.
SE2001 practice.
That's also fine. That's also fine. It'll work. Yeah. Okay. And because the reason why I have not provided it is because it says it is located where? It is located in the baby character tilde rather. It's called the tilde. Okay. Tilde slash SE2001
Mhm.
slash
I
practice
understand.
2.2. So basically we
But
are here, right? I mean, it's the same thing.
I understand.
Uh,
Actually, I learned, means I had this problem with soft links. So I usually now use
uh,
only absolute path.
okay. You have to get familiar with using relative paths also. No? I mean, and the problem you're talking about, no, with links. So that is
Mhm.
an exceptional case. I mean, some cases with links in particular, you might get confused, and in some rare cases, it creates problems. Okay, I know, I understand it. Sometimes it creates problem, but not for all commands, right? So if you're not creating links, if links are not involved, then you can go ahead and use relative paths also. No, in
Okay.
most of the cases, I think it should not be a problem. Apart from with
So
links, I mean,
file
possible.
minus I is not working. So
Oh, file manager is not working. No, okay. In that case, I think I have to
yes,
give
sir.
mime type itself because it gives you the character set. You don't need.
Yes.
You want precisely this thing to explain.
Yes,
Okay.
a file minus mine type is working on.
Yeah. Very good. So that's okay. One thing I'm missing. Okay, yeah. So script I
Sir,
think I've created. I just to make the
sir, I'm getting that when you put
Executable.
file A, sir, I'm getting file A doesn't exist. A exists, A does not exist.
A will not exist. A is like A I just created for illustration. A I
Okay,
have created only. A you need not create it. You can just remove it. Okay. Yeah. So I have a script. One more thing I have to do before running. Chmod u plus x script.sh. Now this time is okay. And synchro eval. Okay, passes. So I just want to, you know, just want to make it fail somehow. So what I can do is,
Sir, it's not
sir,
working for me,
what
sir.
did you type, sir, in the script?
yeah, in the script, same thing, right? The
File dash yeah, mine type
yeah,
semicat file. Okay,
mime type, yes. Double hyphen, mime hyphen type space some file,
okay, sir.
and that depends on whatever is written in the problem statement also. Yeah, Punendu, go ahead, please. You were asking something.
Sorry, sir.
No, sir.
Sir, I
Oh,
had a
sorry,
doubt,
somebody
sir.
else. Yeah,
Sir,
please.
that user, ex sir, the execute permission for user has to be given for, sir, our script file or to that file which we are, I mean, some file.
No, no, some file is not even there. First of all, the other thing is, you're going to run the script, right? That we have written. So it is obvious that we have to give to our script, meaning whatever we have written, we have to give permission to our script only. That is script.sh.
Sir,
Okay.
I am getting an error even after doing the thing. I have done the same thing which you have done.
Okay.
I'm getting an error. It says no private test found. Test one
Okay.
failed.
Okay. Public test case also failing, is it for you?
Uh,
What about public test case?
it
This
says
one.
submission successful for public test case.
And evaluation. What about evaluation? The first line.
Evaluation failed, sir.
Oh, it says failed, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Can you do nano on your script and tell me what all you have written there? Can I see, can you, I mean, you can share your screen also, it's fine, but you can tell me also, like whatever you have written.
Sir, in the first line, I have written same as okay. So the first line I have made the mistake. So that comment,
Oh,
sir, in the
mm,
comment, if I make a mistake, then will it also affect the entire execution?
ah, yeah, I mean, this is a special comment, right? Right. The first one, this with the exclamation is particularly for saying or for telling the system to use which interpreter, right? So this is the exception. Had it been some other comment, right? I mean, I can have lots of other comments here. It's not a problem. Whatever I write here. Okay.
Now it passes, sir.
Yeah. The only thing is this is a special one, so you have to be careful about it. Okay.
Okay,
Very
sir.
good. All right. So yeah, that's all for 2.2. I think we still have some
Can you
time. So
discuss BPT too? Because we have,
BPT, I can't discuss. No, I mean it's graded. At least for now.
Sir,
Once the deadline is over, we can discuss.
sir, can you touch up upon networking of week 2?
Sorry, networking of what?
Week 2 has this networking, right?
Is that important? I mean, from exam point of view.
I
Yes,
think
that's what my question.
for now, some of the commands might be. I think you're talking about net stat and all, right? Is
Yes,
that
yes,
what
yes.
you're asking?
Mhm.
Okay. That is okay. I think I can discuss it, Prananda,
Or
but
else you
let us
can
discuss
take
it
up
next week.
Vim. Sir, else you can take up Vim. Basically, when I run it in WSL, my up and down arrow doesn't work, and I don't know how to exit with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, VM issues, we can take it. Maybe once we stop discussing the questions. Okay, maybe I can do two more, and then we'll come to discussing
Okay, no issue.
questions. Regarding the net stat, would it be okay if we discuss it maybe next week? Is
Yes,
that
sir, no problem. No problem.
yeah? Because now I'm not sure which questions are there. That is one. The other is that sometimes some of the commands, you will not be able to see the exact output on the VM sometimes. So that also
I have
creates
to
problems. So I don't
install
want to.
them. I have to
Yeah.
install the respective packages. It was not pre-installed.
If you do it locally, in that case, I think it.
Uh,
But I think we have
So
some
right
questions
now,
also.
how we are submitting the questions for practice assignments, we have to do the same thing for BPT.
Same thing, exact same thing. Synchro eval is the okay.
Can you just
Solve it.
show once? It is happening.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so I cannot. Okay, yeah, I'll not discuss the solution, but I can show you that. So what happens is, I come back here, ls opt. So assume that I'm going to do PPT1 problem one. I just copy the name from here. I'm still in home. Okay. So
No, can
mkdir.
you just pick BPT2? Because if we did the lines, then
PPT2 is not even here for me. I don't know why. Oh, problem two you're saying, is it?
yes, yes.
Oh, no, regardless, it won't make a difference as such because I'm not going to discuss it. Okay. So problem two. Okay. Yeah, so that's what similar to other problems you're solving, right? Then you do synchro show, whatever it says, you do that, right? I mean, yeah, it's a long one. You do that and assume that you've done that. Okay, assume that it's done. You've done the thing. Then you do synchro eval, similar to other problems. So of course it will fail. Yeah, it fails. It's okay, but that's the idea. Okay. Regarding the solution, we can discuss after the deadline.
So when are we supposed to solve the remaining things like assignments and OPP practice and
This one you can solve at any time you wish to. See, the thing is, when OPP is coming up, and some of the problems that you might be seeing on my screen might not be available even for you because some of the problems are from older, the previous term also. Some might not have been configured, or even if they have been configured, it is there. Maybe they'll reset it and so on. So I don't know that. But the thing is, see, OPP practices we discuss it when the OPP is about to come. So similar kind of questions will be there. So we practice that and so on. So, and regardless rest of the practice questions, like for example this one, right, the awk qawk said and all that is for you to practice to be able to practice and understand these types
these
of
are to
tools.
be
Okay.
done as on the week comes.
I mean, it's up to you, it's
And
for
what about
practice,
the
right?
assignments, sir? These assignments, when are we
These ones,
supposed to
right,
do?
these ones are VM tasks, I think, and this is graded for Linux shell students, but I'm using the system commands VM right now. So, and for system commands these are for practice, but for Linux shell students this is graded. So I think for VM tasks also you'll get some sort of a deadline about which I'm not aware. This is for Linux shell, by the way. Okay. For
So,
system commands student, this is practice only.
okay, sir. Okay.
In
Okay.
this also we have the same procedure like create file and retain.
Same thing, same. You just, so the flow is something like this. You create a folder for that problem. You go inside, you do synchro show, you read the problem statement, do your solution, however you want to do that, whether it be creating a script, whether it be running commands or whatever. It says you have to do accordingly. Once you are sure that you've done the solution well, then you do evaluation. Once you do evaluation, either your test cases are going to pass. If it passes, it's okay, well and good. If not, then you come back, fix your script. Might be something is wrong with your script, you fix it, and then you keep evaluating for as long as it is not passing, right? Yeah, that's what.
So,
So,
so, so,
and then
so when
finally
is the deadline of PPT1?
It's 30th.
BPT1 deadline is
30th.
30th, right? Yeah, 30th, yes, correct. Yeah, and please make sure, again, I just want to kind of urge everyone to please finish this on time. Okay.
Sir, other
The
than
assignment.
Sir,
BPT,
I have a
assignments are there.
question regarding BPT2 problem 2. It's about the
BPT1
question.
problem 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
BPT1 question 2. Can we see the question?
Yeah, of course. So synchro show, let me do that. Yeah, this one.
Sir, here in the fourth part,
Hmm?
sir.
Okay, sorry, let me, yeah, soft link.
Sorry, fifth part.
Okay.
The
Last one.
yeah, the last one. Second, the permission for directories under
Project.
project.src should be 700.
Okay.
Sir, here all the directories under this part should be 700, correct?
It's okay.
Which which will uh, which will include and lib. for both the modules, module 1 and module 2, according to the directory what we. Sir, I'm setting the permissions 700 and I'm checking it as well, but still, like when I'm trying to evaluate, it's failing, and only thing which is not set is this thing. I'm not sure why that's happening, because when I'm
Okay.
manually checking it, it's 700. Like I can see the permissions for each and every directory is set to 700, but it's still
Okay.
failing, and the reason
Are
is,
you sure that the reason is indeed this one and not any other?
yeah, I can share my screen, sir. It's
No, I mean it's better not to discuss that.
okay.
I would not wish to discuss it right now. But the thing is that it might be that it is showing you that's failing because of that. But perhaps there's some other issue that you are overlooking, and because of which it is failing, and so on. Because lots of steps are there, so possibly somewhere something is wrong. Of course, it has to be, because we know this question is correct, and we had a
Right,
solution for this one. It works.
right.
Okay,
But when
so.
when I'm doing synchro eval,
Hmm.
it's saying all of the exists, and only this particular part is not set.
Okay, okay. So
That's why
chmod.
I'm able to like track it.
Yeah, yeah. But I understand. So you are sure that that is the only place you are having issue.
Yeah,
Yeah. But then again, two things. One is that I cannot discuss the solution. The other is that even if I were to, I don't know like what situation you have currently and how you have set it up. Maybe there's some mistake that is there and so on. So, but again, since I cannot discuss this right now, maybe you can discuss it after the deadline. So I think you should be able to do it. But yeah, just try. Maybe something is, just go through every step again. Maybe something
sure,
is
sure.
wrong there. So, yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I think we have 15 more minutes. We'll see um, what all we can solve, and I want to keep some time for questions, last minute questions also. Okay. So what we were doing, practice 2.2, I think is done. Go to 3. Yeah, 2.2 is done. Okay. So what I do is, okay, here, practice 2.3. Yes. Um, Clear. Synchro show. This one is nice. We'll do that. So it says we're going to write a bash script again in the directory. In the directory, meaning the current directory itself, it matches with wherever we are, right? It's okay. To find the day of week of April 1st, 2024. That is which day it was, whether it was Monday, Tuesday, whatever, and print it to the output in full format with the first letter capitalized. So this is just to use the date command and to be able to figure out what all formats it can print into and what all flags it takes and so on. You can use the manual or date help. So you can do date help. It will tell you what all things are there and so on. So what kind of output you need accordingly. Accordingly, you have to go through that, right? So it says, for example, yeah, what do we need? Week number is there. Yeah, day of week. So if you do percentage W, it gives you day of week, but this is numerical. So 0 to 6. We have the percentage U also, that is for day of week again, but that's different, 1 to 7. We need another format, right? That is different. So let's see. Day of month. There should be a day of week also. Weekday name. Yeah, this one. So percentage small a is the abbreviated weekday name. Abbreviated weekday name. That is for Sunday it will be SUN, right? But we need the full name, right? With the capital letter and so on. So this will be the thing you'll be using this format. Percentage A gives you the full weekday name, and that's what we need. So for example, I'll show you on the terminal. We'll write script later. I can say date, right? And so for today, if I don't specify anything, it will take the date as today only. And date percentage capital A. Oops. So date gives us as this, and no, you have to give format in a different way, right? What is the syntax for that? Plus, yeah. So you see here, this is the usage. You give date and then some options that you have, and then plus and format. The format is that percentage, all such things are there, right? So plus, after plus you give that. That's what. So not directly. So you have to give date plus percentage A and Yeah. So it says Saturday because today is Saturday. Somebody is mentioning that you're not able to see it on YouTube. Okay, that should not be the case. Let me quickly check that also. Oh, I am able to see it. Yeah, I think it's okay. All right. So yeah, so you give format as format. How do you give after giving plus percentage? That gives you the name, the day of the week for current date. Now what happens is that I want to, let's say I want to figure it out for another date that is for 1st April 2024. So you have to give the date also, right? So you give like this minus D, and then you give the or double hyphen date equal to. So for that particular date, it'll take it. So for example, if I say now, what happens? Yeah, but if I give now, then whatever the current date is, accordingly it will. So if you specify this or don't specify this, the same thing. But now I want to give it. So I want to give it for 2024 1st April, right? So I give it like this. It's a good practice to always follow this format. Okay, four-digit year, then the month, then the date. So I want to check it for April 1st, right? Okay. So on the date 1st April 2024, the weekday was Monday, as it says. Okay, I want to change it. So then subsequently 2 should be Tuesday, right? And that's what we get, and so on. Let's check for June 2nd. So it's Sunday, and so on. So that's what you can do. So you specify the date here in this format, and then plus they give the format for which format you rather which format you want. So if I yeah, so if I say small a, for example, then I'll get the abbreviated day name. Okay, so that's what it helps you with, and so on and so forth. You give something else. Yeah, 7 is the day of the week in the numerical format. Okay, so what I need is plus percentage capital A to get the date, and that is for 1st April. So it will be like this. Yeah, so this is the command. Now this entire thing I can in fact copy and paste in the script because that's what it says. No, you see this again, the statement. It says you have to write it in bash script that is going to give the day of the week of 1st April 2024 and print it to the output in full format with the first letter capitalized. You're already getting that, right? And you have to use the date command. It says, so you saw how we did it, right? So in the hint it was saying you have to use the date command, and therefore we went into the manual of date command and figured out what are the options we can pass, and accordingly figure out what should be the command and so on. Okay, that is the usual way one does that. Now I'll come to the last part, which is script, writing the script for it. Starting again with command bin bash, right? Command already I have copied it. So date, for this particular date, I have the format. Save it. Yeah, I'll come to your question as well, Sudhanshu. Okay, chmod u plus x script, and okay, so okay, one nice thing I'll do before. So I'll just give it abbreviated. Now the test case should fail. I just want to see it failing also. Okay, this one is failing because I'm giving the abbreviated uh, uh, date, rather day, and day of week. I make it capital, it will become the full day of week in the, yeah. Now you see the full format, and I'm evaluating it is saying that it's passed. So that is the idea. How many uh, practice? Oh yeah, so practice for week 2 was only three. There are only three questions, right? 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. 3.1 and 3.2 and so on. Maybe we can discuss it in the next session. All right.
Okay. Sir, the
Sir,
graded
this
assignments, we don't have it on the VMs.
No, graded assignments, the theory graded assignments, right? That you have to do on the portal.
No,
Similar to
not the
other
theory one, the programming one.
GRPA. Is that
Yeah, yeah.
GRPA? I think you have to do on the portal. Yeah, it is not there, right? Yeah, it's not here. You do on the portal.
sir, assignment 7, 8, and 9. It is there now, sir.
Sir, Afnan sir,
Please.
I'm a OPP only student. I don't want to concentrate on GRPS, no sir. Only PPT, no sir.
Yeah, good question. I think one of the TAs responded to that. No, this is operational. I think you only have to do BPT. OPP only repeat, right? Yeah, yeah. Then
Okay.
then you have to do only BPT, I think. Yeah, but better to check
Okay.
once again with the team. You can just put on discourse also, right?
Okay. Okay, sir.
Uh, yeah, but I think you have to only do BPT.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, somebody was saying something.
Yes, sir. Why we should write a comment in shell scripting?
Okay, I'm
Because there
comparing
is,
this one.
yeah, yeah. Why we should write
No,
this?
I think I explained it in the initial part of the
Yeah, the
session.
Python example.
The Python example I had given, right? So maybe you can go to that part and watch that, Sudhanshu. Is that okay? I mean,
Okay, sir.
because I have described this one, and this is a special kind of comment. The rest of it, I think you know. I mean, anything we can write it. So my script goes here and so on. Rest of the comments do not matter. That this one is slightly special. The very first one, and which starts with exclamation also. So that is to tell the interpreter. But rest of the comments are similar to Python comments and any other comment. I mean, it's just doesn't like it. It'll be ignored. It's just there for the user. Okay.
So if I will no, not write this first comment,
Uh,
then will this work or not?
well, in this case, it will work. In this case, it will work. But I mentioned at some point in the session that it is a good practice to give that. And why is it so? I've also explained with another example. So maybe you can rewatch that part, from the stream.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay. Okay. Thanks, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right. So yeah, that is all. With this, we'll close for today, and I hope we all
So
find this
can you
session helpful.
please show the
But I'll take the questions. Yeah.
script.sh file?
Yeah.
Sir,
So
can you
this is
just
kind of header,
once
right?
again explain that bin bash thing?
Sorry, one at a time, please. What was the previous question?
This is
Punendra?
kind of a header that
This is kind of yeah. It's not
what we
okay.
do
Yeah.
in C, right?
I mean, I would not say exactly that is a header, but yeah, it's somewhat similar to a header. Yes.
Okay.
Sir,
Uh,
in practice, we really need to. So I'm talking in regard to that networking lecture. In practice, we
uh,
really need to go to the supercomputer. I mean, access the supercomputer and then use it for our machine learning model. Does it happen in practice?
I mean, in practice, meaning if you're talking about the course, I don't think you need a supercomputer for this course as
Not
such.
in course, but
Yeah.
in
Okay. Yeah.
practice.
Yeah. In practice, yes. In practice, why not? Because most of the things, what happens is, so assume you're going to train some or fine tune some large language model, right? Talk of the town these days. So for that it's difficult to do. It's difficult to do on on premise, meaning with your on your computer, unless you have a very good GPU resource or something like that. If you're on a data center, that's a different thing. But so in general, what happens is we are not going to do it locally. We do it on cloud. Some cloud machine is there which is having a very good kind of GPU, and we're going to run training on that and so on. So for these things, of course, you need to know networking concepts and Linux, because these servers, run the Linux operating system. So you access it, and you run your tools there. You run your machine learning, learning. What do you call it? The training pipeline there, and it runs and it gives you results and so on. So all sorts of things happen. So for that, you need it, of course. In practice, I mean, there are lots of examples, not only for machine learning training, even for application development. So let's assume that I am working on some web application, normal like web application. I've created it. Now that is there on my PC. Then I have to deploy it, no, somewhere on the server so that it is hosted. And so if somebody visits my website, it is shown and so on. So I have to host it somewhere. So these things, learning system commands and having an understanding of how Linux works is always helpful for various kinds of tasks, not only for thing. But since you specifically asked about supercomputers and all, therefore I mentioned about machine learning training. But because for that you certainly need a very huge, uh, you know, uh, yeah, computers with huge resources that are there. That is,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, yeah. So that's what.
Sir,
Please.
yeah, in OPP, there are sometimes failing because of this bin bash or not? Is it
It
required
can.
or?
Okay, it can. It can. So I mean, it will not always be the case, but it can. It's better to, as I said, it's a bit best practice to
No,
give that.
thing is like for the AW, means for the some other like AVAC and other things. That time we need to write a bin instead of bin bash. There
Uh,
is some
yeah, other.
AW.
So exactly. So assume that I'm going to write a set script. Yeah, that's correct. That's what I'm saying. So it depends.
Huh.
So for example, if they ask you, so currently what are they asking you to do? They are saying you have to write a bash script. So if they say you have to write a bash script, then you're going to say bin bash, right? Or accordingly, whatever the shell is.
Okay.
But if they say you have to write a sed script, then of course you have to write sed, right?
Said.
Depending on, so if they say you have to write a Python script for some reason, I don't think they'll say that, but yeah, that's the idea. So then you have to say Python. So it depends, right?
Okay.
All right. So for sed, for example, this is kind of the format that you have, right? Sed, and then
Yeah.
you,
That
yeah,
hyphen F is also necessary, right?
right. In case of sed, yeah. But for that, you have to go and check arguments that sed accepts. So for that, you have to do sed
Okay.
help and so on, right? So that is pertaining to sed. If you see what f does, yeah, f is for the script file, so script file continues there, right?
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what happens. Yeah.
Okay. If we forgot, then also we can get it from this said help.
Help, yeah, help is very, yeah, I mean, as the name says, help is
Hmm.
very helpful. so
Hmm.
so for each command, possibly you can try it out. So if you're not remembering something, so assume that for some reason I forgot about the minus p argument in makedir, so I can do makedir help. So it'll allow me to check what minus p does, right?
Okay.
For any command you can do this, right? Double hyphen help, and even better, maybe you can do man. Man is for manual. So
Yeah.
manual for, I want to check manual for set, for example. So this will be
Okay.
a, yeah, this is like name, synopsis, description, everything will be there, and you can scroll it like that. If you want to exit, you have to press Q. So Q, you exit like that. So manual or help, both of them are helpful, and I would suggest that. Uh, you all use that at least in the beginning, so that you get familiar with all sorts of parameters, because there's so many options and parameters available, right?
Yes.
It's better
Yes.
to get familiarize yourself with some of the common ones you use so
Hmm.
often, so that you don't have to refer to the manual every now and then. Just remember some
Okay.
of the
Okay.
important ones.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Got it.
So can
Yeah.
I
All right.
do all these things on OPP as well?
Of course, why not? Because these things will be available. It's just that, see, if you spend time reading about the command, maybe, yeah, it's better to remember some of the common commands, so that you quickly do the solution. You solve the question. It's rather than going through the help. But yeah, as such, you can do that. You can run this command and refer to the help also. Okay.
So one just last question: as data
Ah,
scientists, what are the scripts that we will be writing in the future?
very very broad question, Tarang. I think there's no one answer to that, right? Lots of them. Uh, Lots of them you will be writing. I think, I mean, it's difficult to give examples, but certainly you're going to write scripts about, let's say, downloading data sets, right? So you have some data sets located on some server. You're going to download it first of all, and certainly you're going to work with Python, right? So you have to understand how to run Python scripts within Linux, and possibly you're going to run some servers also, meaning some HTTP servers and so on. If you've gone through application development, I don't know how many of you have gone through application development course, modern application development 1 and 2. For those of you who've gone through that course, might understand how helpful it is to know these commands, right? So that's what I mean. In general, you're asking the data scientist what all scripts I'll be running. So that's a very broad question. Okay, lots of them actually. So it's good to familiarize
Yeah,
with yourself with Linux.
So,
to
How
so
to
maintain
copy?
a data pipeline and to automate processes to get data
Yeah,
and
certainly,
run this
certainly.
is very useful.
Okay. So I think with this way, I'll close at least this one. The the screen share. I'll continue taking questions for, let's say,
Yes,
five
sir.
more minutes. Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So,
Please
sir,
go ahead.
what's the difference between this system command and Linux course?
Okay, so the course content I think is same, but the thing is, in Linux shell, some things are graded which might not be graded in system commands, and vice versa. It might happen. Other thing is, in Linux shell you have a lab component also. No, that is for ES students, electronic system students. So that is mandatory that you have to go to, you have to go in person to the campus, do the lab and so on, which is not there in system commands for example. But as such, for the course, for as long as the course is concerned, I think the theory part of it, I think is mostly the same. Okay.
Yeah. So, sir, I am a Linux LS student. So, which will you please guide me which type of question there will be in lab?
Lab. Okay. For that, I mean, there are TA sessions, no, for Linux shell that are happening. I think every day it happens in the evening. That is one. The other is on Monday also there'll be an instructor session. So maybe you can, convey
It
this
is
query to them because.
happening in evening, sir. I did not have
Yeah.
email.
Oh, you have you added the calendar for
Yeah.
the.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, it should be happening. No, not today. I mean, it happens. Generally happens in the evenings on some days, right? It might be Monday. It happens. I know. Saturday also happens, and in between TA sessions happen, right? TAs take that, so you can ask
Oh,
there. They'll be able to better guide you on that. I'm
oh,
first
okay.
of all, I'm not very familiar with what all questions might be there. That is one. The other is that since we still have some time, uh, before the lab comes in, so might be that questions are like we are not sure as to what kind of questions will be there and so on. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir. Thanks. Yeah,
How
thanks,
to
sir.
copy the from the help window or man window
Mm-hmm.
to the script file? The copy
Yeah,
paste
you.
works, or we should enable
So the
something.
thing
For
with
me, I'm not able to
copy, makes
copy
sense. The
the
thing is,
man and then
hmm,
take it to the script.
yeah. So the thing is, with copying is it depends a lot. It depends a lot on the terminal that you're using, right? Some terminals have their own ways of copying things. Other terminals have their own ways of copying. I mean, it depends, right? So Control C certainly, if you do it is for exiting, right? So that will not work. But in general, I have seen, in general, in most of the terminals, that, like for example, I'm using PowerShell here, right? My computer. It could be something else as well. So the thing is, if you select the thing, right? If you like with the mouse, you bring a mouse there, select the thing, and then do right click, it copies it. At least in my case it works, because in PowerShell it is the thing. Okay, I think in WSL also not WSL, the thing is the terminal that you're using, the app. Okay, I'm using the PowerShell app to connect to
Now,
the SSH.
my see, I am asking this question mainly for the OPP, where we will be using this environment, right? PowerShell
Right, right,
environment, right? So
right, right.
here, how to copy? This is what I want.
Exactly. No, no. Okay, so I think there was a slight confusion. What I'm saying is PowerShell or whatever terminal you are going to use will differ, right? That is on the client side. Let's say you're on Mac, then you're using terminal from Mac. No, the command prompt that I have opened, the one that you will be opening will be different, right? That is the thing. I'm talking about the client side. Thus, on the server, it does not matter. So the copying this thing, the copy that happens, it has nothing to do with the SSH part of it. It has to do with whatever terminal or application you're using to do that SSH, the SSH client. It depends on that. Okay. So what I'm saying is, in general, I have seen that if you do right click, so after selecting, so you use your mouse, you go there and you select the thing, and then you do right click, it will copy the text for you. And then if you want to paste it also, so if you want to paste it somewhere, then you also do right click on that blank space, right? So some blank, so assume that you are in Nano, you copied something, you want to paste it in Nano, so you open Nano and then you do right click, for example, it will paste it. And again, it also depends on some applications, like for example Nano or Vim have their own shortcuts that allow you to copy paste text. Okay, but what I am telling about is something different. That is outside of the machine. There are two things, right? If you're using Nano or some text editor, they have their own ways of copying and pasting, right? They're having shortcuts for that. But if you want to do it in, for example, in man page or somewhere else, then you have to do it from your client, meaning whatever SSH client you're using to access that machine, right? So, and that differs, right? I'm using PowerShell, you might be using your own terminal, somebody is using Linux, so they might be using some other terminal and so on. But the general thing is, if you right click, I have seen that right click copies it, and you can see help for not help, you can check on the internet also, like whatever terminal you have. If you have PowerShell, then check, like I have taken SSH connection from power using PowerShell. Then I want to copy something that is on the output. How do I copy? So they'll mention it, like it will be mentioned somewhere how copy works. So yeah, it depends
Thank you.
actually. Okay. All right. All right. So yeah,
Sir,
with
I
this
have
we'll close. Thanks. Please, I think this is the last one. I think Go on, please.
So in this command, whatever we are going to learn in this course, so these commands are for the Linux operating system. So like this, any command also for Windows operating system?
No, these commands that we are learning in system commands course as well as in Linux shell, all of them are for Linux only. No, they'll not work in Windows. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. So with this, we'll close, and we'll keep you posted regarding the upcoming sessions, because I think the next week's session will be there, but Paradox is also coming in, right? So we'll
One,
let you know this in case the session is not there and so on. We'll announce it accordingly.
sir,
Please.
one last question.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Which
Go
one
ahead, please.
is the secure means operating system? Linux or the other one?
Yeah. So the thing is, when we say what is secure, what is not secure, it also depends on the sort of configuration you have done. So assume that. So in general, the perception has been that Linux is more secure than Windows and so on. So when we say such things, we mean two things. One is the facilities some operating system provides to make it secure, right? So for example, there is some operating system, assumes some operating system A, right, and that is not having any security features, right? So then it does not matter how you are using it, because if the security features are not there, it will not be secure, right? But
Yes.
other aspect is that assume that okay, Linux is having so good security features and so on, but your configuration is not, like, you have not configured it properly. That is also one thing, right? Assume
Okay.
that security features are there, so this permission is there, for example, right now I go in somewhere and I, give some permissions which I should not be giving, so something becomes wrong. Now that makes your system vulnerable to, having security issues and so on, right? So that also depends on the configuration. So one thing is having the facility to make your system secure, and the other thing is, are you leveraging those features to actually make your system secure or not? Okay. So when we say Linux is secure or Windows is secure, it also, we have to take it in some context also. We mean that the default features that Linux offers or Windows offers, they are secure enough, so you can use it. You can use your system on a day-to-day basis. All these permissions and all such things are there. But if you're not using it carefully, if you're not careful in such things, you made some, because you are having administrator permissions also, no? If you're doing it locally, then you might change certain things that you should not be doing that, and you don't revert it and so on. So it might make your system weak in that sense. So that is the idea, right? You have to use it in that way. But with that said, actually the thing is, the default settings that Linux has, right,
Hmm.
in general, it is secure. I mean, that's why it is said it's secure. Like, very good security features are there, and it is secure also in the sense that the default settings that they have is also, like, if you don't change anything also, it's fine. Like, it is
Okay.
not as if
But
the system can be compromised and so on. Okay.
okay, but for the configuration point of view, means how I can check in the Linux, particularly for Linux, how I can check that all the configuration, whatever options I have taken, that is correct or not.
Now that is difficult to check in one go. Okay, so the thing is that is very application specific. Okay, I mean,
Okay.
one cannot say that, okay, I have installed Linux, now I want to check whether it is secure or not. I mean, that will be a too broad question to ask. That is difficult. The
Okay.
thing is, for a particular set of features that you have, right? You
Mm-hmm.
want to do, let's say I'm going to install Linux on a server that is
Mm-hmm.
going to host my website. I'm
Okay.
going to develop a website. My website is going to reside on that server that is running Linux. Now I can ask a set of questions. Okay, I
Oh,
can say that, okay, I'm going to put my files, I'm going to put my code there, I'm going to deploy my application there. Under these circumstances, these are the configuration changes I need to make so that I make my website available so that other people can access that and so on. So whatever configuration then I am doing, is that secure enough or not? So under that context, if you ask, then it makes sense, because you have to be careful about that. Are you not? You have to make sure that, okay, when you are making something available, when you are hosting something, then you have to make sure you don't by mistake give access to other files which are internal to the system and so on, all such things, right? But in general, it's okay. I mean, the general question of we cannot have a general question saying whether it is secure or not. It depends on the application you're doing. assume that okay, it's not a server, maybe it's a daily use computer, like it's a personal computer, for example, right? Then it's a different question. Then you have to say that okay, are my firewalls turned on? The firewall configuration is okay or not? I'm having a very good password in my system or not? Am I using disk encryption? Is it on or not? Right? So what happens if I forget my laptop somewhere? Can somebody else access my laptop in that way? Is my password secure? So the set of questions you're going to ask also varies across different types of applications, right? So the questions that you're going to ask when you're going to host a website on a server will be a completely different set of questions from the question that you're going to ask, for example, if some
Personal
computer is going
computer.
to personal computer, right? So it depends,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So yeah, that is why it is very difficult to have a short answer type question saying that okay, Linux is secure or is it not secure. I mean that's the way it is. So even for Windows, it's having a very good set of features, right? And if you're making good use of that, then I think it's okay. So that's the idea. But in general, in the industries, Linux is used because of two things. One is, it is, first of all, it is having good security features, and not only security features, it is providing lots of other good features also. And Linux, the kernel and so on, is also open source, right? So lots of other operating systems and applications are actually built on top of Linux,
Oh,
because it is like open source, right? And so on. So many packages are there. You can configure it very versatile, if you understand what I'm saying, right? That kind of thing.
yeah, got it, got it.
Right. So that is an advantage. Okay. All
Yeah,
right. So with this, I think we'll close. Thank you all once again for attending, and we hope to see you next week. Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Thank
you,
you so
sir.
much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.